Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyarishatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Jaya Jaya Sudarshan Jaya Balagopal Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Gurudev Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Shri Ram Sankirtan ki jai, Guru Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Shad Goswami Sahib Vrindavan ki jai, Nana Shastra Vicharanaik Nipunau Sadharma Samstapakau Lokanam Hitakarinau Tribhuvane Manyau Sharanyakaro Radha Krishna Padharavinda Bhajana Nandena Mattalikau Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyugau Shri Jiva Gopalakau Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyugau Shri Jiva Gopalakau Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyugau Shri Jiva Gopalakau. Hare Krishna. So thank you all for joining in for the Nectar of Devotion session. Okay, we have time. Maybe we can do a little more kirtan. Anyone wants to sing? Okay, Abhinav Prabhu's here. Thank you for joining, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So welcome all the devotees for our Nectar of Devotion session today. We are on the last 5 days of our Nectar of Devotion, culmination of the first wave of the Nectar of Devotion, first 19 chapters. So we thank all the devotees who are very regularly joining us, encouraging us so that we can do this study together. These are overview sessions. So we request all the devotees to kindly read Srila Prabhupada's book in detail and do get back to us for any queries and we will try to answer. Otherwise, we will check with our seniors and answer like that. Hare Krishna. So over to you, Avinav Gaurang Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Once again, thank you so much for the melodious kirtan as usual. And again, I would like to welcome all of you. You have been very, very sincere all through these weeks. You know, we were reading Nectar of Devotion, and I think many more Srila Prabhupada books are yet to come. So just stay tuned with us, and also just please, fix aside some time from your busy schedule to read these books, very scrutinizingly. Otherwise, we actually lose the touch and our bhakti gets slackened. Why we will see in today's session, right? Why it is so important to associate and to hear and to to chant basically. So what I'm going to do is that I'll share my screen as usual, and then someone can please confirm if you all are able to see or not. Okay.
Yes, Prabhu, we're able to see.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so today is chapter 17. We'll be starting chapter 17, paragraph number 1 to 7. Again, like not much to cover, like it's a small chapter only, and first 7 paragraphs are, basically we can cover quickly, and then we can just have an open discussion as we, do always. So this particular chapter is known as ecstatic love. And before starting, like I will just chant some pranam mantras. Those who know can just repeat after me on mute. Those who don't, just listen to it very carefully. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadukamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagan Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenbandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरि यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं हरि ओम तत्सत्. Okay, so let's start today's agenda. But before proceeding, as usual, I would like to dedicate this session to my spiritual grandfather, our founder Acharya A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. Whatever I speak in this lecture or in this session, I will be simply repeating what I have heard in the lectures of Srila Prabhupada and what I have read in the books of Srila Prabhupada and what I have learned from my Siksha Gurus. So, yes. So the topic was ecstatic love, and it can be achieved in two ways. Basically, we will see later on. But one of the most important ways to achieve the love of God or to achieve the ecstatic love is the sadhana bhakti. Basically, the sadhana that we do every day or the regulated devotional service, right? So, how does regulated devotional service help one to attain ecstatic love? So we will see this. So what does this regulated devotional service do is that it actually cleanses our heart, it purifies our heart, and once the purity is there in our hearts, then automatically the love of God manifests. Yes, so purity of heart is very important for any devotional service that we are practicing during that, whether it's regulated devotional service or whether it has just happened spontaneously. For some devotees that is also the case, but that's actually very rare, which we will see later on. But in either of the cases, the purity of heart is the key. This is the only reason, how a particular devotee can be attracted towards Krishna, and then the love of God can, manifest in the hearts. So we'll see regulated devotional service elevates one to transcendental platform. That is one. Second is heart becomes purified and illuminated like a sun. Actually, if you read the book, The Nectar of Devotion, it's written that it's actually a heart of a pure devotee is many times, brighter or many times more illuminated than the sun, actually. And at this stage, the attachment with Krishna is perfect. once the heart is purified. And then devotee wants to serve the Lord out of pure ecstatic love, right? Then devotee reaches to the level of Uttamadhikari. So just to draw a very raw analogy, like what we see in our day-to-day lives. Generally, we see in this material world what happens. Generally, a young boy and a young girl, they are attracted towards each other, and then they get into a relationship, and then they make a lot of commitments to each other, right? So during the first initial phase of that particular relationship, that is actually the sweetest part, right? They both of them, they want to do something or the other for them, for each other, basically, right? And what happens during that phase is that they simply cannot stop thinking about each other, and they are very eager to meet each other. So something similar. It's not exactly similar. It's actually way more than that. But this is the basically the closest analogy which we can draw because we are here in this material world. Something similar happens when the ecstatic or the pure love for Godhead actually develops in our heart, right? And the problem in the material world is that over a period of time, this feeling actually fades away, right? And we have seen that once a particular relationship gets a few months old or maybe even a few years old, people actually start looking at the negative points of each other, both the people who are in that relationship, right? But that is not the case in the spiritual world. Once you attain the love of God, it actually goes on increasing and increasing, with each and every passing moment, basically, right? So this is the difference between the material world and the spiritual world. But then this is what pure and ecstatic love for Godhead is all about. Yes. So a devotee reaches to the level of Uttam Adhikari. That's the last point. So what we have seen, like earlier, that there are three categories of devotees, right? The Kanishth Adhikari or a neophyte, right? And then, just give me a second. Kanishth Adhikari or a neophyte. Second is the Madhyam Adhikari. Like those devotees are somewhere in the middle. They are basically, they have full faith in the scriptures, but they are not able to explain or give proper arguments, when someone actually kind of challenges them like that. And then there's the Uttam Adhikari, people like Srila Prabhupada, people like Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, actually the entire Guru Parampara of ISKCON, if you can look for that matter. And the biggest quality of an Uttam Adhikari is that simply by speaking, they can convert a person standing in front of them into a pure devotee, right? And we have seen how Srila Prabhupada did that. Once he went to the United States, like people were, there was completely a counterculture going on there. The hippies, basically, they were actually, all the four regulative principles that we follow here in ISKCON, they were doing it liberally, right? And what their particular mindset was that anyone who is above the age of 30 years of age, just don't listen to them, right? So that was the mindset at that time. And Srila Prabhupada, who was in his 70s, basically he had just reached 70. He was way more senior to these people. And just imagine when the mindset was that people who are above the age of 30 or 35 just don't listen to them. He was twice that age, right, Srila Prabhupada at that time. But just see, I mean, how he managed to convert those hippies into pure devotees of Krishna. Not only that, he opened so many centers in the United States, and then the subsequent 12 years, he opened 108 temples all around the world, right? So this is what an Uttam Adhikari can do, right? It's said that all the Uttam Adhikaris, they carry Vrindavan in their hearts. Anywhere they go, they can just manifest Vrindavan, at that point of time. Yes. So the purity of heart actually will, make one into an Uttam Adhikari. But although for us, like we are at a very, initial stage of devotional service, and you know what, actually, once you reach this level, then the actual devotion starts, right? What we are doing right now is we are just, doing sadhana. We are all sadhakas. We are just trying to, control our mind, and, we are trying to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra so that our hearts are purified. So once we reach this, purity of heart, then the actual devotional service will start, because we'll be doing that out of pure and ecstatic love for Godhead. We will not be doing it for, for some any material gains, or, we will not be expecting anything in return, basically. So this is what purity of heart does. So there are two ways we will see how this purity of heart is achieved. Okay. So this purity of heart is again explained by Lord Chaitanya in his Sikshastakam. Actually, Sikshashtakam is the only Sanskrit composition which Lord Chaitanya has given to us. Rest all the compositions or rest all the teachings which he imparted, during his stay in Kali Yuga, basically that was in Bengali, right? But this particular Sikshashtakam is very, very beautiful, composition by Lord Chaitanya himself. Each and every verse has, such deep meaning that if you just meditate upon every verse, then you will be moved to tears. He has just opened his heart in these 8 verses basically. So the first one is what Lord Chaitanya says: Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhav Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Karo Chandrika Vitranam Vidyavadhu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Aswadanam Sarvatma Sampannam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, which means glory to Sri Krishna Sankirtan, the congregational chanting of the holy names, Lord's holy names, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life. Right? So this is what Lord Chaitanya is saying. One way to purify our heart is to do the congregational chanting, or basically any chanting that we do, right? The chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Either you do it alone or you do it in association of devotees. Association of devotees is millions, billions, quadrillions times more powerful than chanting it alone. Okay, so that is why we also have this beautiful Brahm Muhurta program every day, right? Where all the devotees, they come together in the morning and we chant together the holy names of Krishna, right? So uh, this is what the cleansing of heart is all about. And until unless our heart is very pure, until unless our heart is cleansed, we just cannot perform devotional service. And I am not saying this, Krishna is confirming this in the Bhagavad Gita again, right? So in the second chapter, 44th verse, what Krishna says: Bhog Aishwarya Prasakta Nam Taya Pahrita Chetasam Vyavasayatmika Buddhi Samadhona Vidhiyate. That means in the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment, material opulence, and those who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. Yes. So if there is any, if there are any material desires in our heart, right, if we are too inclined towards sense gratification, then obviously our heart is not very pure. Right? And when the heart is not pure, obviously it's not possible for us to perform any kind of devotional service. Like we can't even think about, Krishna, forget about performing devotional service unto him. And we have seen that. We've seen a lot of time, especially during this book distribution marathon, when we go out, people are just not interested in taking the Bhagavad Gita. I had a few Bhagavad Gitas with me, which was given to me, by the center as a Shastradan, and I was instructed that, okay, you just go and just give it out to some people for free because this is a Shastradan books, right? Basically. So people are not even ready to take it for free, right? That's what I have observed. And so what to speak of, actually giving it to them and then taking some Lakshmi in return for that. So it's a tough time basically. The hearts of each and everyone, most of us, like 99.9% of the people, are basically completely absorbed in sense gratification. I have this much money today, I will invest in this particular scheme, and then I can multiply it by this number. That is the only concern of the people today. Yes. So with that kind of mindset, the pure devotional service can never take place, and this is being confirmed by Lord Krishna himself in the Bhagavad Gita. Then the types of devotional service. So just pay attention to this part. I have a flow chart over here so that I am able to explain it in a better way. So devotional service, it can be classified into 2 types. One is through regulative principles. That's what we are doing, which is known as sadhana bhakti. And other is through ecstatic love. Now this ecstatic love, it develops spontaneously in some devotees basically, but then those cases are very, very rare. Okay. And we will see how it happens. So through regulative principle, basically, it's again there. It's of 2 types. One is executive, and other is effective. Okay. So executive is basically, we'll see the different forms of all these devotional services. Okay. So they can be broadly classified into 2 types: through regulative principles and through ecstatic love. Then regulative principles can be further divided into executive and effective. So executive is that following the rules and regulations of devotional service, which is the sadhana. We are trying to execute the principles of devotional service. There are 9 stages of devotion, and then there are 9 principles of devotion also. So we are just trying to execute that, and then slowly and surely we are progressing towards the path of Krishna consciousness, and in a confidence that okay, one day our hearts will be purified, and the pure ecstatic love for Godhead will manifest in our hearts, right? With that kind of attitude. And then effective is also called bhav or ecstasy. So this is the very advanced level of bhakti basically. There are 9 stages of devotion, right? We must have all of you must have read that, right? It starts from adav shraddha, bhajan kriya, anarth nivritti, and so on, right? So this bhav is basically the second last stage, which is the 8th stage, right? But this again is also not the pure love of Godhead, and there is every likelihood of falling down from this stage if we are not very serious in our sadhana at that point. An example we know all that Bharat Maharaj, he actually attained this level of bhav, but then he was too attached to that deer cub, and during his last moments when he was about to quit the body, actually he was not able to get that deer cub out of his mind, and he had to come again as a deer, right? And he had to take 2 more extra births. Although he was at such an advanced stage that it was just very easy for him to break the cycle in that very lifetime itself, but just because of the attachment to any material like a living organism or basically any material thing, we can even fall down from the stage of bhav. Yes. So a devotee or a sadhaka should be very, very careful. It's sadhana is just like a double-edged sword. Like we have to be very careful, otherwise everything will go for a toss. So this is the bhav. And then bhav is characterized by shedding of tears and shivering. So these are some of the physical symptoms that, once a devotee reaches that particular stage, then these kind of symptoms start manifesting in that devotee, right? Shivering or shedding of tears. But the thing is that, these symptoms are not staying there forever, especially for the people, for the devotees who are in this bhava stage. What happens that these kind of symptoms, they appear in bursts. Basically, it comes there, stays for a while, then recedes, comes again, then stays for a while, and then recedes. This kind of cycle goes on when one is in the bhav stage. But when one reaches the pure love for Godhead or ecstasy of Godhead, then that particular stage is known as samadhi, where the devotee is not able to think of anything else other than Krishna. Continuously, 24 by 7, 365 days a year, just only Krishna is there in the mind of that particular devotee, right? Because after outward symptoms, what happens when the ecstasy stays in the mind, it continues there in the mind, then that stage is known as samadhi. So, just we can analyze ourselves that where we are at this particular stage and what does a samadhi mean, right? So we have a long way to go, but then just having full faith in our Guru Parampara, full faith in the process which Srila Prabhupada has given to all of us, we have to just keep on going and going and going. Yes, and slowly and surely Srila Prabhupada will take care of all of us. Yes. So yeah. So these are the types of devotional service. So how can devotional ecstasy be achieved? Okay, so it can be achieved in 2 ways. We have seen, okay, like one. So we have seen here that there is one through ecstatic love also. So this is what I will be covering now. Okay, so 2 ways we can achieve the devotional ecstasy. One is by association of pure devotees. Yes, this is very important, and that is the reason why at ISKCON we lay so much stress on the association of devotees, whether it's physical association or an online association. Like every one of us should make sure that we are associated with one particular congregation or the other. Otherwise, it will be very, very difficult for us to practice devotion all by ourselves. And as I have cited example of Sri Bharat Maharaj already, that was one of the reasons why actually he fell down from bhava stage, because he was not in the association of devotees. He was trying to practice bhakti all by himself. Yes. So what happens is that it's very easy to get carried away because Maya is very, very strong. Right? Devi Yesha Gunmayi Mam Maya Duratya, Krishna is saying. Right? Mam eva ye prapadyante Maya metam tarantite. Those who take shelter of my, exclusively my lotus feet only, for them it's very easy to cross this, overcome Maya basically. Right? So this like the taking of shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna, that can be, will be continued only if we are associated with the like-minded people, around us. If we are either if we are alone or if we are, in association with material-minded people, then Maya is way too strong. She will definitely pull us down. Okay, and we will not be able to do anything about it. So that is the reason why we pay so much stress on the association of devotees. Yes. And second is that elevation by special mercy of Krishna or his devotees. And as I said, this is very, very rare. Okay. So when we are actually worshipping Krishna, we should keep one thing in mind is that we are dealing with a personality who is extremely independent, right? You cannot force Krishna to do anything. Okay, he is very independent personality, and it's ultimately up to him whether he wants to give someone liberation or he wants to keep someone in the material pool or what to do. Okay, so relying on the mercy of Krishna or a devotee of Krishna is also a very risky thing. Basically, there is no certainty, right? Although the confidence is there that okay, yes, Krishna will help me, but then just without doing anything, he will help me. That is, Krishna actually demands surrender. That is what he's saying in the Bhagavad Gita. Sarv dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam braja. So first we have to surrender, right? In the second chapter, seventh verse, when Krishna and Arjuna were discussing on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, before this particular verse, Krishna was just talking to Arjuna as a friend, right? He was just get up, you are a Kshatriya, come on, get up and fight. What are you talking about? That your hand is shivering, your mouth is drying up. So these things don't suit a Kshatriya. So these kind of conversations were going on. But in the seventh verse, when Arjun says that, okay, I am very confused about what I have to do because of the miserly weakness. So you tell me, I am a soul surrendered to you. I am my disciple. You are my spiritual master. Now you tell me what should I do and what I should not do. Once Arjuna surrenders to Krishna, only then Krishna goes ahead and gives us the Bhagavad Gita. Yes. So Krishna actually demands surrender. So without surrender, I don't think that he will come. So it's a I mean, he's a true gentleman. He doesn't interfere in the free will of a living entity. Yes. So just to rely upon Krishna's mercy will be a little risky, basically, right? So uh, we have to be very sure that what kind of path we are choosing. We have to choose a certain path where some sort of certainty is there, right? So that's why it is said one should execute devotional service rigidly in the association of devotees so that there will be certainty in raising oneself to static position. If we execute the devotional services rigidly, and if we do it in the association of devotees, then definitely that certainty is there that you will attract the attention of Krishna and Krishna will shower his mercy on you. Otherwise, so very nice analogy is given in the book. Actually, if you read the Nectar of Devotion, so it is said that you must have seen, all of you must have seen that there are certain celebrities who are awarded honorary degree from some university, and like Amitabh Bachchan is one example, Lata Mangeshkar is another example, Sachin Tendulkar is another example. These celebrities, like, they didn't get any formal education from that particular university, but then they were awarded honorary PhD degrees, right? Say uh, in the field of arts or in the field of sports or something like that, right? So basically, okay, so that is one way to get a degree, right? That okay, you can become so popular and so famous that the universities automatically they award you an honorary PhD degree, right? But if we just keep on sitting like that, without studying, then obviously we are risking our entire career, right? I mean, it's a very, very, what to say, it, it's very rare that a person can reach up to that level, and then that too, the influence is so great that the universities come and honor them a PhD degree. We can't just sit idle and hope that someone will give us an honorary degree, right? So the best thing is that we follow the curriculum. We get proper admission in any bona fide university. We follow the curriculum and we work hard, and then slowly and surely we will succeed and we will get a degree from there. That's a sure short way, basically. So exactly the same thing happens when it comes to the devotional service also. So, getting the special mercy of Krishna or his devotees is just like getting an honorary degree. We cannot just sit and hope that okay, someone will come and shower the mercy on us. Rather, execute the devotional service, just like, follow the curriculum of a particular university. So just execute this process, have full faith in this process, execute it rigidly, and then certainty will be there that sooner or later we will achieve the love of Godhead. Yes. So this is how devotional service can be, in ecstasy, can be achieved by two ways. So through regulative principles, how it can be achieved, the best example is Sri Narad Muni. And all of you must have read in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the first canto itself, Sri Narad Muni is actually, telling Srila Vyasdev about his past life, right? That he was a child of a maid servant in the past life, and fortunately he had a great association. His mother actually used to serve some very, exalted sages, right? And Narad Muni was a young boy at that time, and he had this opportunity to, spend some time in the association of such exalted sages. Yes, and that actually helped him to get fixed up in his devotion. Yes, so Narad Muni also confirms this. And in the association of devotees, just let's see what Narad Muni did. So in his previous life, he developed the stage of ecstatic love by associating with devotees and serving them. That's one. Because he had the opportunity to hear the pastimes and songs of Krishna from the mouths of pure devotees, he became very attracted within his heart. That means his heart became purified, once he was in that association. So this is how he explains, okay? First, I passed my days in the association of great sages during rainy and autumn season. Then every morning and evening, I heard them while they were singing and chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and thus my heart gradually became purified. This is what the first thing that we saw, right? That the purity of heart is very important. And how does it come? It comes by hearing and chanting, okay? Shravanam and Kirtanam. And then, as soon as I heard them with great attention, the influence of the modes of material ignorance and passion disappeared, and I became firmly fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. Yes. So just imagine that how much impact the association of pure devotees can have on all of us, right? Just by sitting in a class like this and reading the books of Srila Prabhupada, that is actually purifying our hearts like anything. See, sometimes what happens that when we are practicing Krishna consciousness for over a period of time, then sometimes the doubts also creep in that, okay, fine, like I'm not seeing any progress. Every day I wake up in the morning, I chant my rounds, I do the deity worship at home, offer bhoga at home. So these things actually they start appearing to you like a routine job, right? And you are not able to see any benefit. But this is the actually the trick of Maya. This particular material world is designed in such a way that our minds are conditioned in such a way that until and unless we see some progress, we won't feel that we are making any progress, right? But this Krishna consciousness is just like traveling in an airplane. So if you have traveled in an airplane, then you must have seen that only time when you feel that something is happening is either when the plane is taking off or when the plane is landing. When it's cruising at a height of say 15,000 feet or 17,000 feet or something, you won't even feel that the plane is moving. It's just like a very boring journey, and people feel that, okay, like when will we reach, like that it happens, right? But just say after spending 2 or 3 hours in the flight, ultimately when the flight lands, you are just there, right? So Krishna consciousness is also like that. So if at any point of time you are feeling that, okay, the life has become very monotonous, or we are just for doing it out of a routine that we are doing, no, it's not like that. You are making considerable progress each and every moment. Every bead that you chant, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, every verse of Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam that you read, or any other scripture for that matter you are reading, every time you offer the bhoga to the Lord, the tulsi leaves to the Lord, right? So it all is actually purifying your hearts like anything. So at no point of time we should actually, feel that this is just a routine job that we are doing. Yes. And it is said that, we may forget that how many tulsi leaves we have offered to Krishna's lotus feet, but Krishna remembers each and every single one of them. And there are certain, instances like, if I get some time, then I may, I'll just maybe I can narrate those stories, or the real stories of real devotees, right? And you will be surprised to know that how Krishna reciprocates at the time of death, or at the time of when they are quitting the body. So Krishna remembers, yes. So at no point of time we should feel that it's a boring thing, or we are not making any progress, or things have become stagnant. No, it's a continuous process, and we'll come to know only at the time of final exam, basically. So there are some references which I would like to cite from the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is from the first canto, 5th chapter, 28th verse. And it says, thus during those two seasons, actually Narad Muni is actually telling this, rainy season and autumn, I had the opportunity to hear these souled sages, great souled sages, constantly chant the unadulterated glories of the Lord Hari. As the flow of my devotional service began, the coverings of the modes of passion and ignorance vanished. Yes. And then second is in the third canto, 25th chapter, 25th verse, Kapil Dev, right? He is one of the incarnations of Krishna himself. He is talking to his mother Devhuti, right? And he is saying this: in the association of pure devotees, the discussion of the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. By cultivating such a knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation, and thereafter he is freed, and his attraction becomes fixed. And then the real devotional service begins. As I had mentioned in the beginning itself, that once right now, when we are practicing sadhana, it's a process of cleansing our heart. So once the purity of heart actually takes place, our hearts are completely purified, then what happens? The pure and ecstatic love for Godhead actually manifests. And then out of that love, the devotee starts serving the Lord. So that is the beginning of the devotional service. Right now, whatever we are doing is just, sadhana, basically. We are just trying to purify ourselves. Okay, so at no point of time we should be puffed up thinking that, okay, I'm, doing my services very nicely. No, this is just the beginning. We are not even at the beginner stage right now. It's not anything to discourage all of you. Like everyone is doing very nice seva. That's definitely one thing. But at the same time, we should be doing it in a humble mood, right? Trinadavi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna. That's what Lord Chaitanya says in the Sikshastakam, right? One should be humble as a blade of grass, and one should be as tolerant as a tree. Yes. So, and then with the power of association, again, see, Lord Kapil is saying to his mother Devhuti, my dear mother, when a person is actually in association with pure devotees, the sublime potency of my devotional service can be experienced. Okay. So, as I said earlier, that one cannot practice devotion for a long time when they are alone, okay, or when they are surrounded by material minded people. Okay. You have to have the association of devotees. It's very, very important. And it's not optional, it's mandatory, right? You have to have it. So whatever your situation is, maybe some people are actually very busy with their work, and that's very understandable because we all are in this material world. So something we have to do for our sustenance. So whatever time you get, okay, whether it's convenient for you to join online association, or if it is, best thing is that if you can have some physical association at least once or twice a week. If that is not possible at all, then at least join these online sessions, but please stay in the association. Once you lose the association, then it's gone. I mean, we'll just lose it actually.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. The
Yeah,
pure
Hare
devotees, when you refer, are those the spiritual masters or the sannyasis?
Sorry,
you say
Mataji, can you please
when
come
you say,
again?
when you say pure devotees,
Mhm.
are these the sannyasis or spiritual master?
They can be sannyasis, they can be your spiritual master, they can be your siksha gurus or senior devotees also.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So you have to see, like, that how intensely they are practicing their sadhana. Okay. And again, that comes with experience, with by spending some time with the devotees. Okay. Like when you spend some time with the devotees, then you will come to know that, okay, this particular, devotee is not very serious, or, they are not very. So the best litmus test to do is that someone who actually encourages you to chant more and more, that is the right person for you. Okay. Now, if someone is saying that, okay, if you go and tell someone that, okay, today my chanting was not good, I was very, very distracted when I was chanting, then if the person says, "Acha, theek hai na, mera bhi waisa hi hota hai, don't worry, like it's okay," then you can understand that, okay, some slackness in devotion will come up if you associate with those kind of people. But the pure devotee, what they will do is that, they will just tell you, no, Mataji, or no, Prabhuji. I mean, it's okay. Like sometimes it happens, but you should not give up. You should be, chanting more and more. That kind of encouragement, they should be giving you. So this is
Yeah.
one basic test that you can do, and then you can
Yeah.
associate with such people. Yes.
Okay,
So they
thank you,
can be
Prabhuji.
anyone, Mataji. They can be anyone. I mean, not just sannyasis or spiritual. Obviously, sannyasis and spiritual masters are very elevated devotees. So they are there definitely. But they can also be your Siksha gurus, your mentors, your anyone, senior devotees in your congregation, even your peers, right? They can be anyone, pure devotees.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So when a pure devotee speaks, his words act upon the hearts of the audience. Yes, that's exactly what Srila Prabhupada did. Right? And Srila Prabhupada also has said this on multiple occasions that if your sadhana is good, if you are pure in your heart, then whatever you will say will reach the hearts of your audience or the people who are listening to you. Yes? So that is one thing, that we should not have any ulterior motives apart from serving Krishna and Srila Prabhupada. Okay? So this is one very important thing. And a professional speaker cannot impress, transcendental ecstasy within the hearts of the listeners. However, when a realized soul who is engaged in the service of the Lord is speaking, his potency to inject spiritual life, he has the potency to inject the spiritual life within the audience. That's exactly what Prabhupada did. What did Prabhupada do? In the Tompkins Square Park, like he just went there with what to say, that manjira or the kartal that we play, right? He just started singing Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That's it. And that was the beginning of Krishna consciousness. People became, the hippies actually became his disciples after that, right? So this is what a pure devotee can do. This is what an Uttam Adhikari can do. Yes. So without any ulterior motives, without any expectation of return, if you simply chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and anyone who comes, for help or for guidance to you, just offer them full guidance with your heart and soul. You see that, that particular person will be transformed. You will have that potency to do that. Yes? Because how am I saying this? Is this I am saying it? No, I am saying it on the basis of what our acharyas have said, right? Lord Kapil Dev is actually mentioning it here. Srila Prabhupada has mentioned it here, and we have the authority of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that you first perfect your life. Since you are born in the country of India, you first perfect your life, and then you go out and just preach Krishna consciousness. Jare dekho tare bolo Krishna upadesh. Right? This is what he has done. So it's his order, for us to do that. So if we are pure in our hearts, then definitely the love of Godhead will also manifest. At the same time, we can also develop that, potency to make someone, convert someone into a pure devotee of Lord. Even though if that person is a very fallen conditioned soul, completely materialistic, but then that change will come up. So with that, I would like to pause here. I would just open the floor for questions, and or we can discuss anything, any realizations, whatever you want to, whatever takeaways you had from this particular session, anything that you liked, and we can discuss that.
Prabhuji, I have one realization
Yes,
means
yes,
regarding
please.
Sakar Sagun and Nirakar Nirgun.
Mhm.
So we Vaishnavas do Sakar Sagun Bhakti of Krishna, which means we make the Bhagwan sleep, we bathe
Mhm.
Krishna, then we make him eat prasad. So such type of association with Krishna we have on a personal level. So that is like Sakar Sagun. And similarly, the consciousness also happens after that. Means we associate with Krishna eternally in the spiritual world. But if we speak of the Nirakar, Nirgun, Mayavadi people, they don't have such form of God. So they means they like impersonally merge in the impersonal Brahman, and they don't have service also in that impersonal Brahman.
Yeah.
So is that the like consciousness of of Sakar Sagun worshippers and Nirakar Nirgun worshippers?
Yes, yes, of course, you are right, Prabhu. I think that's a very good realization. And you know what, like in the Bhagavad Gita, I think in 12th chapter or 16th chapter, somewhere I'm confused where he has said, but Krishna has himself confirmed, okay, that
12th chapter.
yeah, those who worship my personal form, it's much easier for them to make progress, in bhakti, rather than those who are, trying to focus on impersonal form. That process is there definitely. Like you can practice that impersonal thing also, but then it's a very, very difficult process. Right? I've always quoted this example of Arjun, right? Arjun was a very great archer, actually, right? And we all know that he was such a great warrior and a very pure devotee and a friend of Krishna. But one very important thing, what Arjun had was that his mind was perfectly controlled, Okay, and it so happened that he had equaled Lord Shiva in a battle, and he had also defeated Indra in a battle. Both of them were so pleased from him that Lord Shiva gave him the Pashupatastra and Indra gave him lot of Divyastra, right, and a lot of celestial weapons. And he actually personally invited Arjun to come and reside in the Swargloka with him, so that people, the inhabitants of Swargloka, can teach him how to use those celestial weapons. So while Arjun was spending his days in the Swargloka, this celestial maiden or an Apsara called Urvashi, actually, she approached Arjun to unite with him, and she had a desire to unite with him. Now, just imagine, we can't even think or we can't even perceive the beauty of all these celestial maidens. And what to speak, when such a particular celestial maiden is actually approaching someone and then expressing her desire of getting into a physical union with such a person. And none of us can say no to when we are put in that kind of a situation. And Arjun actually denied that, saying that no, I'm already a married man and I'm already committed, so I can't do that. I am looking at you as my mother. So this was the kind of control which Arjun had on his mind, right? And when Krishna was giving this talking about this dhyan yoga, actually. So after listening to all the, whatever Krishna had to tell about the dhyan yoga, Arjun said that, okay, whatever you have said is right, but then this process is very impractical for me. Right? This is what he is saying. So when a person like Arjuna is saying that, who has his mind already under control. Now, if he is saying that this process of dhyan yoga is very, very difficult, then what to speak of people like, you and me and all the other people of Kali Yuga? Is it possible for us to, sit at one place for maybe 12 years? Not at all. We can't even, sit for 10 minutes without looking at our mobile. What to speak of 12 years, right? So, yes, what your realization is very nice, Prabhu. So, yes, what you have said.
No, because why I made this realization is the Muslims, they face to the west and they do namaz, that is the 5 times. But there, I don't know what type of namaz they do. They have impersonal feature God, or we can say, because and still they are so like intolerant to Hindus that you worship. Like they say we worship idols, but that is not the case. We don't worship idols. We worship deities. In fact, their consciousness is not perfect like that. But now we cannot say all these things. But so that is the only thing I have to like say, like this realization, like because yes, because in that class also the word said that we agraha and then vigraha comes, means we tell the Lord to come to us, agraha and then vigraha. So that I got the realization that day. So
yes,
I
very
spoke.
nice. Yeah, very nice realization, Prabhu. And yeah, so let's not think about what others are doing. This is what we practice at ISKCON. We will stick to that. And Srila Prabhupada has said, whenever some Mayavadis or some impersonalists used to say that the God is everywhere, why do I need to worship idol? So Prabhupada used to counter them by saying, if you are only saying that God is everywhere, then He is present in these deities also. Then what is the harm in bowing down to the deities and offering your obeisances, right? So yeah, with that particular mood, we will just practice what we have been told by our acharyas.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else?
And just now, recently you made a comment just now in this class that Bharata. So in Chaitanya Charitamrut, it is said that Bharata Bhumito Kona Bhagyavana Jiv, means one who is born in India should spread the Krishna consciousness. So we are so lucky we are born in India and we are like getting this Krishna conscious knowledge. Like
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we don't realize this actually. It is said that one has performed a lot of pious credits in their past lives. Then and only then they get a chance to be born in a place like India. Otherwise, if you say go anywhere, like had it not been for Srila Prabhupada, like we all know that what kind of activities were going on in the West at that time. Yes, especially US and UK, like people were completely absorbed in the counterculture. They were, like all the 4 regulative principles that we follow, they were just doing it freely, without any consideration according to their whims and fantasies, right? But just because of Srila Prabhupada, they were saved. And what to speak of, people who are born here in India, that right from the beginning, at least the seeds of this devotion are actually sown by none other than our parents themselves. Yes. most of the households, you will see a Bhagavad Gita there. You will see even if they are doing demigod worship, but at least we know that okay, what is the process of doing bhakti. Yeah. So we are very, very fortunate, and we should be very, very, what to say, grateful to Krishna that we have been given this opportunity to be born in a country like India. That too, we have a human form of life. So let's not waste it. Let's utilize each and every second, each and every moment of this life, and in the service of Krishna, perfect it. Finish your business in this lifetime, as Prabhupada used to say, and go back home, back to Krishna. Yes.
Hare Krishna. In that, it is said, Nirvishesha Shunyavati Paschatya Deshatarani. So, I had gone to Radha Govinda temple, and there they say the Nirvisheshvad means they are like, what is exactly Nirvishesha? Means they were not having culture like Nirvishesha, something like, what is the meaning of Nirvishesha?
It means that there is nothing. Like Buddhism is one such example, that they believe that after death everything finishes. There's voidism. It's nothingness after that. There is no soul. There is nothing. It's just that this particular life is there, and once you die, everything is over. So that is called Nirvisheshwar.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Anyone else? Okay.
Prabhuji, so nice.
Yeah, sure. Hare Krishna Mata. All right. So if we don't have any queries or any realizations, we can end this. Medhavani Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhu. Very wonderful session. Yeah, quite high level, discussion. So I'm not expecting also many queries around this. But yeah, we just have to simply follow the regulative principles of bhakti, and by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga, we will get the rest. Abhideya and Sambandha. Sambandha and Abhideya is all that we need to focus on.
Yes.
And then Prayojana is Lord's mercy.
Exactly.
All right. So anyone else has any query, any realizations to share? Otherwise, we can kind of end the session now. Or yeah, anything else from devotees? Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. So thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you very much.
Krishna, thank you.
Vaishnavi Namo Namah. Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the wonderful.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Pranam, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. With your permission, can I end this meeting, Prabhuji? Hare Krishna, thank you so much.